There's a powder sitting on a shelf at your hardware store for about $10 that will wipe out every ant in your house. Not the ones you see marching across the counter. The entire colony, including a queen you will never lay eyes on. 3 cheap things, one of them costing pennies a batch. And by the end of this, you will know the exact recipe, the exact ratio, and the one mistake that makes most people fail. Here's the strange part. This powder works better when you use less of it. Add too much, and the ants win. Let me show you why. Here is what happens when you reach for a can of spray. You see a trail, you hit it, and within seconds the floor is clear. It feels like a win. It is not. The ants you just killed were the foragers, the lowest-ranking members of a colony that can hold 100,000 insects. Somewhere behind your wall, underground, or inside a fence post, there's a queen laying up to 1,000 eggs a day. You cannot reach her. You will never see her. And as long as she's alive, the trail comes back in a week. Spraying the ants, you can see, is like bailing water out of a boat while ignoring the hole. This is where the powder changes everything. Boric acid is not a contact killer. It does not drop an ant on the spot. And that is exactly the point. When you mix it into something an ant wants to eat, the ant does not die at the bait. It carries that food home. And ants do something most people have never heard of, called trophallaxis. They feed each other mouth to mouth. A single forager regurgitates what it collected and passes it to dozens of other ants, who carry it deeper into the nest, all the way to the queen and the developing young. You did not poison one ant. You handed the colony a meal that it delivers by hand to the one insect you could never reach. The boric acid works slowly on purpose. It disrupts their digestive and nervous systems over a couple of days, long enough for that meal to travel to the heart of the nest before anything starts dying. Now here is the part almost everyone gets wrong. And it is the reason most homemade baits fail. Your instinct is to make it strong. More poison, deader ants, right? It is the exact opposite. Researchers at the University of California tested this, and a bait made with 5% boric acid was useless against Argentine ants, one of the most common household species in North America. Why? At that strength, the foragers died too fast. They dropped before they made it home, before they could feed anyone, before the poison ever reached the queen. The colony barely noticed. The sweet spot, the concentration that actually erases a nest, sits under 1%. Weak enough that the ant feels fine for 2 or 3 days, strong enough to be fatal once it has spread through the whole colony. You are not trying to kill an ant. You are trying to turn it into a delivery driver, make it too strong, and your driver never finishes the route. So here is the exact recipe, and there are 2 versions, because ants change what they crave depending on the season and the species. For sweet-loving ants, the tiny ones in your kitchen, pantry, and bathroom, mix 1 tablespoon of honey or simple sugar syrup with about a 1/4 teaspoon of boric acid. That is it. Stir until the powder vanishes. For grease and protein-loving ants, the ones raiding the dog bowl, the garage, the barn, swap the honey for bacon grease, 1 tablespoon of fat to roughly a 1/2 teaspoon of boric acid. Same powder, different bait. The boric acid does the work either way. The food is just the Trojan horse that gets it through the door. Setting it out matters more than people think. Do not smear this in the open where pets, kids, or chickens can reach it. Take a small container. The dollar store sells little clamp-top tubs, 4 for a couple of bucks. Drill a hole in the lid just big enough for an ant and drop the bait inside. Now it is tamper-proof. The ants walk in, the dog cannot. Place these stations directly on the trails, along baseboards, under the sink, behind the fridge, near the doorways and windows where they enter. Do not wipe the trail away first. You want them finding it on the path they already walk. Here is a clean trick for counters and shelves where you do not want a tub sitting out. Load the bait into a cut drinking straw with a syringe and lay the straw flat in the corner. No mess, no spill, and the bait stays exactly where the ants are. Put out 4 or 5 stations for an average kitchen, more if the trail is heavy. And here's the counterintuitive part. When you first set the bait, you will see more ants, not fewer. Do not panic and do not clean it up. That swarm is the colony loading up and carrying your poison home. It is the sign it is working. Give it patience. Because the kill is slow by design, a colony usually collapses in a week to 2 weeks. Refill any station the ants empty and leave them down until the trails stop coming for good. Now here is the part that genuinely surprised me. This is not some modern lab chemical. Boric acid comes from borax, a mineral humans have been digging out of the ground for more than 4,000 years. The ancient Babylonians and Assyrians used it. It traveled the Silk Road, and in the 1800s, entire 20-mule teams hauled it out of Death Valley. It has been a registered insecticide since 1948. You are using one of the oldest known minerals on Earth to outsmart an insect that has survived for over 100 million years. And about that seasonal switch, there is a real reason ants flip between sweet and greasy. In spring, when the colony is raising young, the larvae demand protein and fat, so the foragers hunt grease. In the heat of summer, the workers need fast carbohydrate energy to keep moving, so they chase sugar. If your bait suddenly stops attracting them, you have not failed. The colony's appetite changed. Switch from honey to grease or back again, and they pile right back on. And one more thing, the same powder handles quietly. Roaches and silverfish die the exact same way, so a single $10 tub solves 3 pest problems at once. Add it all up. A $10 tub of boric acid that lasts years, a couple of dollars of honey or a spoon of bacon grease you already have, and a handful of dollar store containers. Against an exterminator visit that runs $150 to $300 to treat the same colony, you could have handed a poisoned lunch to yourself. The ants do the hard part. You just have to get the recipe right. Weak, not strong, and put it where they already walk. If this saved you a call to the exterminator, share it with someone fighting the same battle and hit that like button on your way out. See you in the next one.